The Fuse UK podcast is proudly sponsored by EcoSmart. EcoSmart help people to find the most suitable and affordable solutions to reduce their energy bills. They will assess your property and determine which system would be the most suitable for you to power your home with cheaper, greener energy. Not just that, but EcoSmart can also provide scaffolding services. They can change charging ports at home for your electric cars and many more services they can provide. Call them now on 0800 222 9532. EcoSmart, leading the way in renewable energy.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Just finished in the gym now.
Good, man. How are you feeling, bro?
I'm all right. Just trying to stay busy. Obviously, I had a finger injury, but it was actually before the tryouts. I had a broken finger, but never went to get it seen to, really.
Yeah.
So I've been to get it seen to a couple of weeks ago. It's just in a splint at the minute. So I'm just trying to do what I can around the hand, obviously, running and whatever else I can do, really. Just trying to stay fit, ready for when the opportunity comes.
Yeah, so what actually, you were meant to fight on this prospect series, weren't you? That's coming up, but unfortunately you've had to pull out.
Yeah, so basically I had my BKB debut a week before the tryouts, and obviously I've damaged my finger in the fight. Me being me, I didn't bother going to get it seen to, so I went to the tryouts with a broken finger, just did what I could, and then obviously I was fortunate enough to make a good impression regardless, and then I got given a date, obviously 14th of October, to be ready, so I thought I better get my finger checked, and they basically said, you've left it too long, it's not going to be ready, so
Yeah.
really disappointed, to be honest, because I was really looking forward to fighting, as you can imagine, but just going to be ready for the next one now.
Yeah, so where did it all start for you, George? I know you're 11-1 in boxing, and you've also had your debut. Was it on Back to the Bone, your debut?
Yeah. So that was my BKB debut. And to be honest with you, until about 4 or 5 weeks before that fight, I'd always said I would never do bare knuckle. Honestly, I was like, bare knuckle's messy. There's no skill. I was one of these people I had no intention of ever doing bare knuckle at all, but I got blagged into it by my coach. Obviously did it. Absolutely fucking loved it. And then I seen a friend of mine actually sent me the the BKFC tryout poster, and I just thought, no, this is fate. I'm fucking going. So I messaged Andy. He sent me the link to sign up, and then it just went 0 to 100. Really, I had no intention of doing the bare knuckle at all. So the bare knuckle just happened out of nowhere, really. But now I've definitely got the bug for it. I'm probably gonna carry on doing the glove boxing as well in the meantime. But definitely ready to take over the BKFC now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, so before, when obviously the bare knuckle, what did you do beforehand? Was it just strictly boxing?
So I'd say growing up, I never did any kind of martial arts, no boxing, anything like that. I think I was probably in my early 20s, and I did a little bit of kickboxing and jiu-jitsu for about a year.
Yeah.
I sacked that off after a while, and then I think around 2018, I decided I was going to take up boxing properly and try and compete and things like that. So it was about 2018. It was only about 5 years ago I first had my debut boxing fight, to be honest. And obviously with the COVID situation, that was a couple of years up the ring. So I've only been actively boxing for about 3 years. I'd probably consider myself just pretty new in the sport, really. Eight of my 13 fights came in the first year as well. So I probably only had 5 fights in the last 4 years. So I think that's you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg, mate. Believe me.
Yeah, so these fights that you had in boxing, were they amateur, unlicensed?
It's all unlicensed, yeah. All unlicensed. No amateur background. Just out of nowhere, really, the last few years. Like I said, I had 8 fights in my first year. I lost my first fight. Started taking it quite seriously then. Won my next 8 fights after that. And then it was COVID, all that messing around. Had some like shoulder injuries and things like that. So it's been pretty stop-start the last few years, and I've had 3 fights this year as well. So I'm just getting back into the active mode now, really.
Like you say there, like you haven't had like massive experience, but some people take things like a duck to water, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I honestly think that my potential is completely untapped still, and I believe that with my mentality, I have unshakable self-belief, and I think that I will honestly be a massive problem in my weight division when the time comes.
So what weight is it that you're going to be fighting at?
Well, 57 to 61 ideally. Probably walk around at like 63, 64 without really being strict on a diet. So I'm not like a big lad. Obviously, I'm only 5'5" as well. What's that? Sorry.
Is that about 135 pound now?
I don't even know. I've always done it in kilos from the, on the unlicensed. It's always been kilos, but I think about 135. Yeah. Well, 140 is what? Is that about 10 stone or? I don't know. Not sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's confusing because obviously the BKFC, it's all American in it, so it's always in pounds.
Yeah. Anyone my weight, I want to fight though. Anyone between 57, anyone that can make 61 or less, that's who I'm coming for. Any man that can do that.
What did you think of the tryouts with the lads that you done bits of training with and that?
Do you know what? I really enjoyed it. The whole setup, it was great to be a part of. Like I said, I had no intention of doing it. It just came around so fast with the timing after my fight and then seeing the poster. But I really enjoyed working with the coaches. Had some good feedback as well. I could just tell it was a really good setup, really professional. All the coaches were great to work with as well. Got to speak with Robbie Brown and a couple of the other lads that already signed, and they're all dead sound as well. Had some words of advice and things. So I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience, to be honest. It's just a shame my hand was holding me back a bit, but I think that the coaches could obviously liked what they saw. So I was pretty happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, it was, mate. You did do well. Like I didn't even know you hurt your hand at the tryouts, and I just thought you were normal.
Right. Well, obviously, when we were doing the pad work and the bag work, I was just touching because they were saying save your hand for the sparring, and then obviously the lad that sparred, Nathan, he was quite a tidy lad as well, to be fair. And I was trying to save my hand, but at the end of the day, I wasn't willing to miss the opportunity. I thought I'm just gonna have to fucking let my hands go a little bit here now. I don't want to. What's that? Sorry.
I was just like saying, about what you were saying. I remember your spar. I've got it on video. It was a good little spar, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's a tired lad. I think he's got quite a lot of. Robbie was saying he's got like a lot of amateur experience and stuff like that. So I was quite happy holding my own with him with a bad hand, and I think he was a bit bigger as well on the day. To be fair, I think he fights it around about my weight. He was saying, but I think on the day he was probably a good 6 or 7 kilos heavier as well.
Yeah, I think he actually. If I might be wrong, but I'm sure he's won the ABAs and all that as an amateur.
Yeah, apparently so. He's got a lot more experience than me, definitely. But like I said, I'm new in the sport, and I'm here to take over, mate. Honestly, I'm here to take over the whole shit.
But is it just bare knuckle now? You're just sticking at? You're gonna just chase this now in the BKFC?
Well, I mean, I definitely want to get signed by the BKFC. I definitely want to take the bare knuckle game super serious. I think. To fill in the gaps between fights, if I can do some glove bouts and protect my hands and things like that, I will. But I'm going to prioritise the bare knuckle for sure. I think Andy was saying the next prospect show might be in February, so obviously my hand will be better before that time. Hopefully, I'll get 1 or 2 glove bouts in the meantime, just to stay busy and stay sharp, really. But definitely focused on the bare knuckle now.
Yeah, and you're a fan of it as well. Like, do you keep up with data with? Is there anybody like you look at who you think, oh, I'd love that fight?
Well, to be honest with you, like I said, had no intention of doing it, and I'd never, ever watched it. When we went to the tryouts, I wish I'd have known who was who. Like, I had no idea who you were at the time. I recognised you a little bit, and I was even thinking, is he a fighter? But obviously, you was recorded. But it was only afterwards I realised I'd seen some of your podcasts when I was trying to brush up on who was who.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know who Danny Christie was at the time. So, I wish I'd known to go and speak to him. Do you know what I mean? The only person I recognised was Robbie, because I'd seen, some of his videos fighting the Jippos and all that on fucking YouTube or whatever. So I didn't know anyone, to be honest. And, I'm only just looking at fights now and working out who's who. I don't know who the champion of my weight division is or anything like that, to be honest. I don't really know anyone. I didn't know who Andy Bakewell was until I met him. So I am red raw in this shit.
Obviously, you won't know because you're only just getting into it now, aren't you? But get deep into it, mate, and see the fighters and the rankings and all that. It's exciting, man.
Yeah, no, I've been watching more bare knuckle since the tryouts because I want to see the landscape, see who's good, see who's my weight, blah blah blah. So, but I mean, who do you think? You tell me. I mean, who's the fight to make? I know Robbie's obviously doing well for himself at the minute. I know he's my weight, but other than Robbie, I don't even know any names to say, to be honest, mate. I mean, I know Dodson, he's in the States, a bit far at the minute.
Yeah. You've got there's loads of lads, but at that weight, the lads who tend to fight in that weight are up and down in the weights. Like one fight.
Yeah. It's not a massive weight category, really.
Nah.
I think there was some talk of me maybe fighting that. Is it John O'Chip Chase or something like that? Like a Muay Thai guy.
Yeah.
Andy, obviously, before I realised I wasn't going to be able to fight, I think that was one of the names he'd thrown at me, and I was like, if he can make 61, let's do it. So I obviously had to look at him after that, and he looked quite tasty on his Instagram page, to be fair, but that would have been a good fight. I mean, I said at the tryouts when I saw Robbie, I did say to him, hopefully I'll get through today and we can fight each other. And he said, well, there's not many people in the division, so I'm sure it'll happen, or something along them lines. Do you know what I mean? He was super sound. There's no animosity, but obviously he's riding his own wave, doing really well for himself. So hopefully I can get a good prospect performance under the belt and then fight a big name like that, really.
Yeah, it's exciting, mate. Like, just thinking now and seeing lads like yourself coming in, making the divisions more busier, more active. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's good, mate. It's good. And before we wrap it up, mate, have you got a message for all the fighters in your division or potential divisions in the BKFC?
Listen, bare knuckle's bare knuckle. Everyone's got a puncher's chance. We already know that. Like, people can win or lose against you in a play and rah. But I'm telling you now, any man between 57 and 61, I'm going to be a big problem. I'm capable of putting any man's lights out in that weight category. Okay, with or against the runner play, I'm ready to knock some people out, and I'm coming to take over big time. This little setback I've experienced is going to give me that a little bit more time to polish on the skills a little bit more, add fuel to the fire, add hunger to my belly, and I'm coming. I am coming. Believe me, it's going to be worth the wait.
100%, bro. I can't wait to see it. And for the people who are going to be watching the podcast, mate, where can these guys follow you on the journey? On Instagram and that, do you want to give your pages a shout out?
Yeah, so it's basically just Instagram, and it's gorgeousgeorge_13.
Sweet, mate.
Find on Instagram.
Have you got any sponsors or anything like that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so I've got Harvey's New York Bar and Grill. That's one of my big sponsors. I've got Club 147. I've got the vintage and old clothing brand doing all kinds of pop-up events all over North Wales at the minute, doing some really cool clobber. And Chanel Printing as well. They're my current sponsors. So big up to them. Thanks for all the support. And thanks for everyone that buys tickets, messages me. I appreciate it all.
Sweet, brother. We'll stay in touch now, mate. Now we're in contact and get some more work built up. Maybe come and do a bit of filming, some things like that.
Definitely, mate. I'd absolutely love to do some stuff like that with you. That'd be wicked.
Yeah, sweet, mate. Well, I'll give you the message and that now after this podcast, and we'll sort some out. But I really appreciate you coming on, bro, and hope you enjoyed it.
Nice one for having me on, brother. Appreciate it.
No problem, George. See you in a bit, mate.
Take it easy, mate.